everybody, my name is Kylan3639. Welcome back to another video. Today, in this one, is actually going to be a card analysis video, but it's going to be a little bit different on how I usually do card analysis videos, because today I'm just going to be reacting as my first reactions to the new Despia Archetype that just got revealed last night. So yeah, this is coming out in Dawn of Majesty. So yeah, let's just go into the video and see how they are. This is the first time I've ever read them. I was making sure I didn't read it just for this video, so I know what their effects will surprise me, you know what I mean? So let's get in straight to the video. So it starts with, you know, the name of the article, which is Despia Archetype Reveal. Albez, a bizarre adventure continues. Oh boy, is this another Albez fucking support? Oh boy, how all the others have been doing super well. I mean, I guess Dogmatica has been good. I shouldn't give shit to that. But let's just get into it. If you do want to see the article for yourself, I'll put the link in the description down below for you guys. But without further ado, let's get into the cards. Starting off with our first card, which is going to be a level 1. So it's it was Despian of Comedy. Okay, it's a dark fairy. Wow, that's actually an interesting kind of art attribute type is that's actually very weird. It's a level 1 with 0 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use either this card's first or second name per turn. Okay, so you can only use one of those effects per turn. Let's see. So the first one is when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a face-up Despia card you control. Quick effect, discard this card, negate that effect. That's not that good. It's a negation effect, sure, but they do have to target your Despia cards. So things like Zeus would get around the stuff and like that. So I don't know if that's really that good. Okay, so let's get into its second effect, however. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, tribute 1 fusion monster, special summon this card. Okay, so it's a tag out kind of effect, but what fusion monsters would like to be tributed to for other shittier, I'm assuming shittier cards to come out? Because if you're tributing a fusion monster, you have to properly fusion summon and all that stuff, so basically, you're tributing a good fusion card to pull out this card. Doesn't seem that good. I'm assuming there's going to be something in the archetype that goes off this kind of effect. So, like, if they're like, oh, if this card is tributed, you get this effect. We'll see. I'm assuming it has fusion monsters if it has this kind of effect. So, yeah, let's just keep going. Not that good. I mean, it just really depends. The second effect could be good. It's also generic, so it can be for other stuff. So it just can be for any fusion kind of thing, so you can splash this with any other fusions, like, I don't know, Shaddolls. Would you really want to splash this with Shaddolls, however? Yeah, it's whatever. Okay, into the second one, which is Despian of Tragedy, okay, which is a dark fairy, kind of like the typing, which is a level 1 with 400 attack, 400 defense. You can only use either this card's first or second effect per turn, and only once that turn. So again, it's like either you activate the first or you activate the second. You cannot activate both. Okay, so if this card is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, add 1 Despia monster from your deck to your hand except Despian of Tragedy. That actually seems good because it's a level 1, so you can actually link it off as well. So that doesn't seem that bad, or it's banished. So it's like, man, something, because since they're darks, I'm assuming you can play like something like Allure of Darkness, and if you just banish that, you still get some crazy advantage, but that's if you troll it too, and if you already have it in hand. So it looks good because it's a searcher, and if it's just any way to send to graveyard or banished, or okay, it has to be sent to graveyard by card effect. So I guess not linking it off would do it. But getting banished by card effect seems easier, so that actually might be better for it, and you get to add the Despia monster, so it's not that bad. Or you can activate our second effect where you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Stigmatica spell or trap you already engraved, set it to your field. This is interesting. Stigmatica is interesting because we're getting a new Stigmata support in Blazing Vortex, I think, but we're not getting Stigmatica support unless they change Stigmata to Stigmatica for it to kind of gel well together. That's what I would think it is, because unless all their spells are called Stigmatica, but I would think they'd be called something like like the monsters or Despian or something like that. But that's kind of interesting. So yeah, that's interesting. Stigmatica could be interesting. So yeah. Let's keep going though. That doesn't seem that bad. Depending on the spell or trapping graveyard, that can actually be pretty good. But we'll continue and see. Now we're going to a level 4, which is Albert, Jester of Despia. I'm assuming this is kind of like Albez, because it looks like the dark version of Albez. That actually looks pretty nice. So it's a dark fairy, like the other ones are, which is a level 4 with 1800 attack and 0 defense. And you can the same thing as all the other ones. You can only use one of the effects per turn, and only once that per turn. So the first one of this card is normal or special summon add one Stigmatica spell or trap from your deck to your hand. That doesn't seem that bad. I mean, basically, what, Alistair at this point? I'm assuming their Stigmatica is going to be something with a fusion, because it looks like it's going to be a fusion-based archetype. So I'm assuming that's how it's going to be. Or you can activate second effect. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, while this card's in your graveyard, target one effect monster your opponent controls, special summon this card, and if you do, negate the target's effect until the end of this turn. That's not that good, because first off, your opponent would have to destroy it by battle or card effect, and then second off, only get the negation. I was kind of thinking it was going to take the monster there, but it only takes the it only negates the effect. So you can just special summon a monster and negate effect, but that, I don't know how much that's really going to come up if they're already getting rid of your fusion monsters, which I'm assuming is kind of like a boss monster for the deck. So yeah, I don't know how good that is. I mean, the first effect seems fine depending on how good the spell or traps are in the deck, but let's just keep going. We are going with Dramaturge. Oh my god, Dramaturge of Despia. This looks like fucking Maximus. Wow, this is like this really looks like a Dogmatica card, and it has Dragma in its name as well. So interesting. So yeah, kind of interesting card. The Dark Fairy, level 8, 3000 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use this card's name first and second effect once per turn each. So you can actually use both effects during both turns, or use both effects during the turn, unlike the other ones. Okay, if a Fusion, Synchro, or XYZ and or Link monster is special summoned, you can target one effect monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So you can practice yourself, because it just says when any extra deck monster is special summoned, target one effect monster, negate its effects until the end of this turn. And you can do it during your opponent's turn, obviously, as well, because it's just generic. So that's actually very, very good. Second effect is that this card is used as material for a fusion summon from a hand or field, or sent to graveyard or banished. Special summon this card. Wow, that's actually very good. Holy shit. So if it's sent as fusion material from your hand or field, and it's sent to graveyard or banished, you can just special summon it. That seems a huge effect. That's actually very, very good. I like that effect. That you basically get the fusion summon and then gain one of your materials back is actually very fucking good. And then you get that first effect where you can negate during either player's turn as long as an extra deck monster with special summon. That's actually very good. This is a very, very good card. I can maybe see this being played outside of archetypes, outside of its own archetype, because again, this is generic for any fusion summon. That's actually very good. So maybe this sees play outside its archetype, so that can be very interesting. Now on to their fusion monsters. They look to have two. They have two fusion monsters. Let's see. So we're going with Despian Quaeritis. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, by the way. So this is a Light Fiend fusion. A Light Fiend. Wow, okay, that's interesting. So it's a fusion effect monster, level 8, 2500 attack, 2500 defense. One Despia monster plus one light or dark monster. Okay, so this is a Despia card. Okay, just making sure. So one light or dark monster. Okay, you can only use this card name first and second effect once per turn each. First effect is during the main phase. Quick effect: change all attacks of face-up monsters you oh my god. You can change the attack of all face-up monsters currently on the field to 0, except level 8 or higher fusion monsters until the end of this turn. Okay, that doesn't seem that bad, because you can proc that during like damage calc and stuff. So as long as it doesn't get negated or destroyed, I think you'll be fine. Okay. And if this face-up card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can add to your hand or special summon one Despia monster or one Fallen Albez from your deck. So this kind of is like the Titanclad of the archetype, if you know what I mean by that. But it has to be face up on the field. It just can't be sent to graveyard by any other way. And it has to be by opponent's card effect as well. So that's kind of the unfortunate part. But you get to add or special summon a Despia monster or Fallen Albez. But the fact that your opponent has to destroy it and you can't proc it like Titanclad does, where you can just send it to graveyard by any means and you get that effect, is very interesting. So I guess it's not too bad. I guess This is a Fallen of Albez kind of deck kind of thing, so I'm assuming the next fusion might have something to do with it. So yeah, I guess it's not too bad. I mean, that first effect is good if they don't negate it. I mean, that is a damage calculation kind of effect, so it'll be very hard to negate, so that'd be something. So I guess it's not too bad of a card. Let's get into the next one, however. Despian, oh my god, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce this name. Proskenion? I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's another Light Fiend fusion effect monster. It's a level 11 with 3200 attack, 3200 defense. It requires 1 Despia monster plus 1 light and 1 dark monster. So it requires 1 of each, basically. So 1 Despia, 1 light, or 1 dark monster. Okay. Very, very interesting, I guess. You're going to use this card's name first and second effect once per turn each. During the main phase, quick effect, target 1 fusion synchro XYZ or link monster in your opponent's graveyard. Either banish it or special summon to your field. That's actually very good. Yeah. So basically just any extra deck monster. Basically any extra deck monster your opponent's in the graveyard, either banish it or special summon it to your field as a quick effect. So basically if they try to bring one back, you can banish it. If it's, I'm assuming if it's properly summoned, you can actually just special summon it to your field instead. That's actually very, very huge, depending on how good and if it's properly summoned extra deck monsters are in their graveyard. I'm assuming something like, I'm trying to think of like link-based monsters, maybe you, if you're versing Dragon Link, they try to get its Chaos Ruler effect, you can just get it back to your field instead. So this is very interesting how this is going to be. This is very good. I think that's a very good effect. Let's see it, I don't know if it's going to be like, I don't know, it seems like a good effect, I would think so. But I just don't know. I think it's a good effect. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, it's a good effect. I think I'm trying to like argue like it's not that good. No, it's a good effect. When this card is destroyed, opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage equal to them. Destroy the monster's original attack or defense, whichever is higher. I guess that's actually not too bad either, because I'm assuming with 3200 attack, you're going to be able to beat over monsters. And you get to inflict damage equal to their original attack or defense, whichever one is, of course, higher. So yeah, that's actually not too bad, especially if it beats over 3k monster. You inflict 3k to them. That's actually very, very huge. We have to destroy it by battle, so that's if you get to that point at the point. Because Yugioh is always about you destroy their entire board during the main phase, and then you get that direct damage during the battle phase kind of thing. So this might not come up as much, but I'm assuming it might. Yeah, I think that's still a good effect as well. Very good fusion monster, by the way. Now on to their spells, and that's about it. There is no traps in their archetype. Starting off with Despia, the Stigmatica Theater. So this is their field spell. Very interesting, and this is the Stigmatica, so this is going to be able to search off by the monsters. So you can only use this card's name first and second effect once per turn each. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion. Wow, that's generic. Because none of these fusions are saying you need to do a Despian or Despian fusion monster. This is just any fusion monster. The only requirement needs to be a level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck. That's interesting. That's very good during your main phase too. So, man, that's holy shit. That's actually very good. Generic, so you can pull out basically any other fusion monster. Not just don't need just to go into these two. But that's actually not too bad. I like that. And then the second effect of a face-up non-fairy fusion. Now, why do they specify fairy? None of these are fairies. So, if a face-up non-fairy monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, target 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster in the graveyard, special summon it. That's actually not too bad either. Considering you don't play fairies in the archetype anyways, that's actually not too bad. That's actually very, very good. So yeah, this all around is a very good field spell. You can fusion summon with it, and then if a face-up non-fairy monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, special summon a fusion monster from the graveyard. So I'm assuming that has to be properly fusion summoned as well, so there's no cheating out other stuff. So yeah, very good field spell there. And then we go into the quick play spell, which is Stigmatica Curtain Rise Quick Play spell. You can only use this card's first and second effect once per turn each. You can discard 1 card, then add Then add to your hand or special summon in defense position one Despia monster from your deck. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn after the card resolves, except for fusion monsters, which doesn't seem like that's a hindrance whatsoever. I feel like this is a fusion-based deck, so who cares about that? And if a fusion monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can manage this card from your graveyard instead, so it has that protection in graveyard effect as well. So that's actually very good. So there are only 2 spells. So I'm assuming the Stigmatica is also going to include the Stigmata support in Blazing Vortex. I think they might just switch the name to Stigmatica or just switch these spells to Stigmata. So yeah, I think those are going to be support cards for that because it kind of makes sense because they're both fusion archetypes kind of things, and it gives more support to that because the Stigmata doesn't have any fusion monsters or doesn't have any effect monsters or anything like that. So yeah, that actually might be interesting. So yeah, that is it for the entire archetype, however. My thoughts on it, it seems like it's going to be one of those splashable fusion archetypes, so like Invoked or Shadal's or something like that. I feel like one of these are going to be splashed into it, especially this Dramaturge of Despia. Seems like it's going to be a card that's going to be used in a lot of other fusions outside its archetype because it's just a very good card in general because it's basically basically a negation for it's kind of like basically a negation whenever a extra deck monster is special summoned to the field, and then if it uses fusion material you can just re-special summon it back, which is actually very, very good. So this might be seen play outside its archetype. Yeah, but besides that, this is basically just going to become another splashable fusion deck like we've seen with Shadal and Invoked, which is going to be good because, you know, Invoked Shadal is already a meta deck in today's format because thanks to El Shadal Wenda. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting where this deck goes to. This is coming out in Dawn of Majesty. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. However, if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. I will upload every single day, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.